We have a lot to go over from this last weekend of racing, Memorial Day weekend. So I'm going to split this into two videos. Today's video, I'm going to simply just talk about the Coke 600, NASCAR's longest event. And then sometime later this week, I'm going to make another video talking about the Indy 500, because I watched that race from start to finish. Formula One in Canada, and also the O'Reilly and Truck Series races, because there's a lot of good and even some bad to go over. At the end of the day, Daniel Suarez is your Coke 600 winner. Wow. I cannot believe it. Daniel Suarez gets his third career Cup Series win. Due to the rain coming at just the right time, he took a gamble, taking two tires when all of the faster cars, like the Toyotas and Kyle Larson and those guys, took four. Suarez did a good job on not one but two restarts to hold off the fast Toyotas of Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell, and the cautions for weather fell at just the right time, and he was able to win. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of races being called prematurely due to rain, but this might be the one exception, because I was so happy last night. It's been 2 years since Suarez won his last race, and he's the kind of guy, as my favorite driver, you just never know when he's going to actually win a race again. Yeah, this one kind of fell into his lap, but like, come on, man. Come on. He's been doing a good job all year in that 7 car. And ironically, the 7 car for Spire Motorsports wins. If you remember, Kyle Busch's last NASCAR win ever was in that 7 truck for Spire Motorsports, literally a week ago. So, good continuity. Also, Daniel Suarez used to drive for Kyle Busch in the Truck Series. A good, popular winner. My favorite driver gets a dub. But we have a lot to discuss, because this race had a lot of action, a lot of positives, a couple negatives, but overall a solid Coke 600. So, let's just start off by going over the finishers. The aforementioned Daniel Suarez gets his first win of the year. Spire Motorsports now has 2, count them 2, Cup Series wins this season. Carson Hocevar won back at Talladega. And Daniel Suarez, yeah, the rain came. But we got to talk about Suarez. He had okay speed, like probably a 10th to 15th place car. Early in the race, he came down pit road, believing that he had a loose wheel. The team did not find anything. He had some sort of vibration. Loses a lap. He gets his lap back going into stage 2. And then once again, stage 2, the same issue happened. He has a vibration. He thinks it's a loose wheel. He makes an unscheduled pit stop, goes down a lap again. And after a few late race cautions in the final stage, Suarez gets back in the lead lap, was probably on track for a top 15 maybe, and I would have been happy with that, considering the day he had. But then they take a gamble. 2 tires for Daniel Suarez, while the rest of the field takes 4. We saw it earlier in the race with Zane Smith. He had a good restart, cleared the field by a couple car lengths, held off Bell and Hamlin just enough until another caution flag came out for, I believe, weather. They got the race resumed. Same thing again, Suarez, another good restart. Held off Hamlin and Bell just long enough. You could tell that they were going to blow by the 7 car. But Suarez did just enough to hold them off. Another caution came out for rain, and at that point it was late. They brought the cars to pit road. They called the race. Again, I'm not a fan of seeing races end prematurely due to weather. I'm a little bit different this time. Like, yeah, I was actually begging for the rain to start. I wanted Suarez to win that race. I was really happy that he did. I was like, wow, you never know when Suarez is going to get his last win. He's not a guy who wins many races, so yay. Realistically, they probably could have went green again, but it would have not been till like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. at that point. People would have started tuning out. So, you be the judge, but ultimately Suarez is your winner. Christopher Bell, this season just keeps getting worse and worse. A great race yesterday, 44 laps led. I believe he won the 3rd stage after passing Hamlin late. Arguably the best car. But due to the Suarez strategy, he was not able to get around him in time. Settles for 2nd. A good points day, which he needs, but just a good points day. He wants that win. Denny Hamlin, another strong showing. 75 laps led. He actually despite not winning the race, scored more points than Daniel Suarez. He earned 60 points. Suarez earned 55 because Hamlin got a bunch of stage points. I believe Hamlin won the first 2 stages, and then Bell won the third. A lot of points for Denny Hamlin, though. Tyler Reddick, incredible season continues.
Major momentum for Briscoe.
Big run for the 45. Does he go 3 wide? He does.
3 wide. Turn 1. Reddick inside. Hamlin in the middle. Briscoe outside. Unbelievable stuff on the restart. 45 going to the point in the 600.
4th place. Led 119 laps. Good points day. Well over a 100-point lead over 2nd place. Kyle Larson, a much-needed top 5. He was the only non-Toyota that actually had top 5 pace. All the Toyotas were the best cars in this race. Larson kind of had something for them for a little bit. He had good restarts, led actually 14 laps, but just didn't have enough pace, especially on those longer runs to maintain with the 11 and the 20. But still, 5th place is good. A much-needed good day for Kyle Larson. Ty Gibbs, fastest lap of the race. 17 laps led, another good solid race for Ty Gibbs. I believe he's up to 4th in the point standings right now. Good for Ty Gibbs. Ryan Blaney, a quiet night, but 7th place, was running about 7th to 10th all day, just outside the top 10, just inside the top 10, top 5 for a little bit. Not a bad day for Blaney. Logano came out of nowhere. He was running mid-pack all day, and even at the last 50 laps, I was like, is that Joey Logano running in the top 10? Much needed good day for Logano because he's been struggling lately. He needs these good days, top 10 days, to help him make the chase. William Byron also did not have a very good day, but he quietly worked his way into the top 10 late. Zane Smith rounds out your top 10. He had a very good race. Remember how I mentioned Suarez took 2 tires? I think it worked out a lot better for Zane Smith because Zane Smith was actually able to gap the field for a little bit and led 30-something laps. It always seemed like when Suarez was up front, Bell and Hamlin were on him. Zane Smith could actually break away and lead a handful of laps in that strategy, so good for Zane Smith. And let's go over some of the other finishers, shall we? Shout out to Shane Van Gisbergen. I think this was his best oval race ever. He ran 95% of the race in the top 10. Even with the little pit strategy in the last stage, he did lead a few laps. Ultimately, he got shuffled back at one of those last restarts. 11th place, though, is nothing to feel ashamed about, though. He led the Trackhouse banner once again. Ricky Stenhouse, too. 12th place for that team is really good. Eric Jones, 13th. McDowell, 14th. Keselowski, 15th. Custer, 16th. Alex Bowman, 17th. Allmendinger, 18th. Corey Heim in that part-time 67 car finishes 19th. Todd Gilliland finishes top 20. Riley Herbst, 21st. Bubba Wallace finishes 22nd. He had an issue earlier in the first stage when he hit the wall on a restart, but came back for an okay finish. Hocevar had pit road issues all night, finishes 23rd. Noah Gragson, 24th. Ty Dillon, 25th. John Hunter Nemechek, 26th. Austin Hill, I want to mention Austin Hill because he obviously was driving that 33 car, driving Kyle Busch's old car. It was really nice to see RCR retire the number 8 for the time being. Very, very classy move on RCR's part. Not having Kyle Busch here for the first time in a race weekend was really sad. So Austin Hill finishes 27th. Cody Ware, 28th. Josh Berry had a spin earlier in the race, and then he got caught up in this massive pileup in the last stage involving Chris Buescher, Ryan Preece, Chase Briscoe, a handful of cars involved in this big crash. To me, side by side, Briscoe sees the opportunity, goes 3 wide. And Buescher put a half block. Not a full block, but a half block. It seemed like before he got hit by the 19, he was reconsidering his decision to block. But the 19 didn't anticipate the 17 going down at all. It was just a miscommunication on both their parts. It seems like a 50-50 split, I would say. Turns the 17 up the racetrack, 2 RFK cars. Briscoe, who had a great night, 27 points still. Similar to Ross Chastain, just nothing's going right for him this season. Speaking of Ross Chastain, he got involved in this crash with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Tried sliding up the racetrack in front of the 47. The 47's like, nah, I'm not having any of that. Drives into the back of the one, sending him around. Chase Elliott had this spin by himself in stage number 1. You don't really see Chase Elliott spin out by himself. He was pushing the car too hard, was running mid-pack, not a very good car in the first place. Gets loose, slams that wall, finishes 37th. And then these two cats right here, Austin Cindric and Connor Zilic, two guys in need of a good race. Cindric gets loose. I don't know if the car behind him got him a little bit loose, packing that air on the rear corner panel of the car. The two slides. He did what he could. He held the brakes, but the banking's so steep at Charlotte, he gets turned down the racetrack right into the path of Connor Zilic. I want to also give a shout out to Catherine Legge. She finishes 31st. She finished this race at least. She went for the double. She tried the Indy 500 earlier in the day. She crashed out early, but still, she attempted the double. Still a massive accomplishment to just do it in the first place. She didn't finish both races. She didn't finish all the laps. But good for her. It's no easy task to race 2 long races like that in a day. Another thing I want to mention, now that we went over all the finishers, was the beautiful pre-race ceremony. That was awesome. Seeing Samantha, Brexton, Lennox, the whole Busch family there. It was tough. I started shedding a tear. I actually was crying seeing Samantha Busch cry during that pre-race ceremony for Kyle Busch. The fans were cheering, and towards the end of that ceremony, the sun started coming out. It was just beautiful, poetically beautiful. Plus, on lap 8, they had the silent lap 8, just like they did for Dale Earnhardt, the silent lap 3 when he first died. Also, just like that race in Rockingham back in 2001, the first race without Dale Earnhardt, during the pace laps, they left the pole position open for Kyle Busch. That was... I never really knew how it truly felt when the NASCAR world lost Dale Earnhardt because, I wasn't born yet. So, I'm guessing this is the feeling because I'm still, confused. It doesn't feel real, the fact that Kyle Busch is not with us anymore. But it's really nice to see how all the winners this weekend, Chastain, Lane Riggs, and Suarez all gave bows when they won the race in honor of Kyle Busch. It was beautiful. The race as a whole was a lot of fun. Charlotte Motor Speedway is great with the next-gen car. Definitely, I think, a bit of a downgrade from last year's, but last year's was hard to beat. The long runs were cool, passing throughout the field. These cars were not stable. We saw a lot of self-spins, a lot of crazy moves on restarts, a bunch of fun little leaders, like Suarez won the race, SVG led laps, Zane Smith led laps. The only issue, I guess, was the rain. Seeing how they kept, first there was a caution for lightning. Then the meteorologist said they're good to go back racing. Usually if there's a lightning strike within the area, they have to stop for 30 minutes regardless. But they said this time there was a meteorologist there clearing the drivers to go back out there and race. That led to the Suarez strategy, 2 laps on the restart, another caution for sprinkles. Restarted again, 2 laps later, another caution for rain. They tried to get the race the full distance, but with all that effort to do so, they pulled the cars on pit road for the red flag. Instantly called the race. I get it though, it's late, and again, this is the one time ever as a fan that I was actually rooting for NASCAR to call the race early so Suarez can win. But it still didn't hit as hard as Suarez's first 2 wins because, people are going to always argue he didn't deserve that. He was nowhere near the front of the field all night. He gambled and it won, and it paid off. But I'm happy. I'm very happy. But a very emotional weekend of racing. It was bad weather across the board. All 3 of the NASCAR races had a lot of weather. All 3 ended early due to weather. Even the Indy 500 had a little bit of rain. But yeah, what a day. What a day for Daniel Suarez. I'm so happy for him. But I'm still upset that Kyle Busch is not with us anymore. That ceremony was beautiful, though. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, I'm Jake. You are watching Maine Motorsports. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Stay tuned. I'm going to do a second video for this last weekend because there's just so many races to cover. The Indy 500, we have a lot to talk about. Formula 1, Great race in Canada I want to go over a little bit. Plus the O'Reilly and Truck Series races, because I mentioned the weather came into play in the Cup Series race. Yeah, the weather came into play for the O'Reilly Series and Truck Series race, and those two races I've had massive problems with. And I'll explain why in the next video. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Peace, guys.